It's a deep drive to left center, way back, and ouch, I just got scratched by a cat. I've got cat scratch fever. I've got two cats in the house. They are owning my house, and I don't know what to do. I'm actually afraid of them, and I'm wearing an astronaut suit and oven mittens every time I try and pick them up. My name is James. My nickname is Coach Ballgame. Flick Money and the Chopper are in the house on episode 89. Guys, what do I do? I've got cat scratch fever.
Coach, been down this path before. Uh, Kittens and cats are great house pets, but you do got to get them past the kitten stage. If they're going to stay in your house, everyone in your house needs to be armed with spray bottles. That's going to keep them from scratching you. It's going to keep them off furniture. It's going to keep them out of the areas you don't want. But just like little leaguers, Coach, they're unpredictable and it requires a lot of patience. So I'm sending you cat scratch fever love from the Pacific Northwest. Good luck with that.
Boy, are they athletic. I mean, they can leap, they are fast. It's mongoose like. Chopper, you ever had a kitten or a cat, man?
I'm a dog. I'm a dog person. I
Yeah.
love the unconditional love that dogs provide, and I resent a little bit the attitude of a cat. Kittens are cute. I had a cat in college. My roommate, John Skinner, had a cat, and that was not optimal.
Wait, John Skinner had a cat?
Not optimal.
Did not skin the cat, I presume.
It was less than great.
Coach Chopper, do we need to drill down a little bit on the what I heard you say was I resent the attitude of the cat. Do we need to drill down a little bit? Cats are very talented, very athletic. Also a little more
Glass
okay
is
to
half
do their
empty.
own thing.
Yep,
What's
glass is
that?
half empty for me when it comes to cats. The glass is not half full. God bless
Oh
them though,
boy.
and those that love cats, God bless them. No offense, with all due respect and all of that jazz. But yeah, I am a dog person. I love dogs, and I always have, and I've always, me and cats just don't see eye to cat eye, if you will.
Well, I tell you, those cat eyes, they own me this week. We're figuring it all out. One little
Scratch at a
bowl
time.
of fish cat food at a time. Boy, that cat food really, it's strong. The odor is present, especially if you're going with fish meat. Ooh. Anyhow, if you're a cat person or a kitten person, then this is the place for you. Episode 89, where you know what we're talking about today? The topic is Little League, and specifically 10U. We might jump into a little 11 and 12-year-old Little League, but I went to a Little League game, a playoff game just down the road here in Southern California, and just some things came to mind as far as priorities, rules of the game. Are there rules we can shift to make it a better thing, a better product? So that's a bit of a tease on how can we make Little League better. I'm sure you've all seen it. Our Patreons, we love you and we thank you for keeping the lights on. If you want to support this pod, patreon.com/chop and ball game. But let's start with the good in Little League. Chad Chop, you've got a good Little League story. Hit me with it.
I've got a great little league story.
Dang.
Let me set the scene. It is Saturday night. It is the first round of the Tournament of Champions.
How old are these kids?
This is majors, so this would be 10, 11, and 12-year-olds. You've got the number one seeded CDO Majors Expos versus the number 4 seeded CDO Majors Cubbies. The day before this game, I was working with one of my athletes, and he's like, "Hey, I heard you guys are the best team in the league." And I said, "We were fortunate enough to have the best record, but every team is really good, and any team could beat any team in any given night. All the teams are very well matched, evenly matched." Fast forward, it's Saturday night. We're losing 6-4 in the last inning. There is 2 outs, 1 out with a runner on second. Our 10 hole is batting. and we've got 11. So actually we've got, as our 9 hole, we have 11. So 9 holes up, swing, miss, fouls the ball off. My 10 hole looks at me and goes, Coach, it's his birthday. He goes, Coach, I'm really scared. I don't want to make the last out of the game. And so I looked at him and I said, hey, if you get a hit or if you don't, we love you either way. He goes, I know, Coach, but I'm really scared. Next pitch, strike 3. Welcome to the stage, our 10-hole hitter. And he's about to walk out there. He looks at me again. Coach, I'm really scared. And so I said, you know what, dude? First of all, it's okay to be scared. That's natural. That's human nature. It's okay to be scared. You take a deep breath and you go up there and do your best. And we're going to love you no matter what. Now, this is an athlete I've been working with outside of practice a lot. And there's a big kind of barrel dump. So the whole thought process for him is thinking about hitting a hard ground ball, and that gets him on plane. And so he's about to go up there. I put my arm around him. Go, hey, just take a deep breath. It's okay to be scared. Don't worry about it. Gets up there, first pitch, rocket ground ball in the 4-hole, base hit, scores the run. It was the coolest moment of the season for me, and there's not a close second. So that made it 6-5. Next kid grounds out, lose the game 6-5. And we celebrate his birthday. It's a wonderful moment. We're driving home. I'm with Bo Chop. And Bo's a little bit disappointed, you know. He's like, man, we X, Y, and Z. We had a million runners on base. He's second and third bases loaded. Just, you know, baseball. We didn't get the big hit. That's okay. And so we're driving home, and I said, Bo, if you had to make a choice between 2 options, the first option is, sure, we win the first round of the Tournament of Champions. Double elimination, by the way, so we're not out. But anyways, that really doesn't even matter. Do you choose we win that game, or do you choose that special moment for one of your teammates that will impact him in a positive way for the rest of his life? For sure. He was scared. He fell back on his training, which he's learning that hard work pays off. And it's just this really special moment on his birthday. It was the coolest thing I've ever seen. And Bo's like, I would choose that special moment for my teammate. I'm like, yeah, that's a win, son. That's a win. And we're still not out of the tournament, but even if it was single elimination, if I had the option to choose one of the 2, that is an easy decision. Give me that triumphant moment for a young athlete who was scared, which is normal. We've all felt that. And he was able to go up there. And I'm telling you, it was against an intimidating, big, huge rocket ball firing 12-year-old who was breathing fire. And this young dude just had a moment. And it was the coolest thing I'd ever seen. So to be able to put that in perspective for my son, and just I'm so proud of this young athlete. It's so cool. It was amazing. It was why you played Little League. And so I texted the dad on Monday, and he's like, man, he's still on cloud 9. And I said, you know what? I talked to Bo and told him that whole story, that interaction. He's like, I wish we could have had both the win and the hit. And I said, honestly, it's so much more important for your son to learn that life lesson. It's going to impact him in a positive way. Baseball is just a vessel, and we're using baseball for that. And so it was really cool. It was awesome.
Bravery salute to that young man. I'm talking about bravery salute, big time. And how about a character and a scholar salute for Bo Chop to see the big picture there, even as a young fella. Flick Money, you are the Mr. Miyagi of youth baseball. How'd that story hit you?
Right in the pills, Coach. I mean, directly in the pills. That's when you say, why save Little League? Why have this conversation? That's the moment that we're talking about. That's all the pieces. That's hard work, being a great teammate, caring about others, the character development side, the skill development side, you know, opportunities to test yourself in quote unquote big spots. It's all the good stuff. It's the reason that we're here. It's the best part of being alive. So let's get into this conversation. Congratulations, Coach Chop, on changing another life. Pew! Double
Another
life.
one.
Well done.
Another one.
Another one. Another one. You know, you're obviously, you've said this 88 times on 88 episodes of this podcast, Chopper, but prioritizing character over a win, and the win becomes a byproduct. But the real win is the heart. It's that life lesson learned by that young man, that lesson learned by Bo Chop, and hopefully a couple others that saw that same thing happen. They saw the fear in the child, and bang, biscuit. It was a beautiful thing. I like the way you phrased that, Flick Money. We're here to save Little League. We've got a guest coming up in about 10 minutes or so, and he's our resident boots on the ground. He's a Little League coach here in the Southern California area. He mows the grass. He puts the foul lines out there. He's just nonstop on that field, Mr. Little League of the area. But I got to tell you, going to a Little League game, first round of the playoffs, just like Chopperooski, and sitting in the bleachers for an hour. I don't go to many Little League games. And golly, the sounds are great from the bleachers, hearing the cheers from the bleachers, from the dugout. It's a beautiful thing. But I was there for about an hour, and I might have noticed 3 legitimate baseball plays in 1 hour. A man of the Sandlot, a man of our coach ball game playbook style of prioritizing movement and action. You don't see much of that in a real Little League game. And I remember being in the playbook, talking with our students or our friends in the chat about issues they've had with Little League, and I think there needs to be rule changes. I think there needs to be a change from the top. I'm having discussions right now with Little League proper, and they understand it too. They've been to Brazil, they've been to other countries, and they see the same thing where, and we're going to dial in specifically 10 and under baseball. I don't know if the word product is great, but it is not a great product. And we, at this point, we've been telling these Little League coaches, it's a bad product, so you've got to make your practices really great. That way the kids don't walk away from the game, and they stay in love with the game. So I kind of want to just throw some stuff at the easel, and we can try to create some pictures of it. And our resident coach Quack, we'll let him have a therapy session as well and talk about things. But let's start with this one: more baseball, less the other stuff. And specifically, other stuff would be the catcher chasing a wild pitch, many walks or strikeouts. I would have loved to put a camera on the center fielder and the left fielder in this hour that I was watching the game. They did not move. There was 0 things for them to move for. It was either a ball, it was a swing and miss, or it was a stolen base. So a lot like the MLB issue of just no ball in play, no movement. Let's start with Chopperooski here. At 10 and under, what are your thoughts on more baseball, less other stuff? How do we save it?
I like a 1-1 count. I know Flick Money talks about that a lot. We talked about that. We did that in summer baseball in high school out in Southern California. And that promotes more baseball. And then I would move the mound up. So these kids that have trouble throwing from that distance, they force it. They forced it on our kids here in Tucson too, where they're 7-year-olds and they can't make that throw. So I would move the mound up. I don't have an exact distance. I would kind of play with it, but whatever distance promotes the most baseball. And then if there is a walk, I would find a way to make that very banana ball-esque where there is action. Maybe you got to get the ball to everyone in the field. I had the same experience you had when Michael, my oldest, I went and watched a fall ball game, and it was 9 walks in a row, and nothing happened. And I was like, I looked around, I'm like, we're killing this sport. These kids will never play baseball again. This is the worst thing I've ever seen. And by the way, I know people are against it sometimes. If there's a walk or a strikeout, put a tee out there and let the kid hit the ball. and let's figure it out. Like, let's get the ball in play and let's have them make plays. So I don't, there's no perfect science, but we got to move the mound closer. It's got to be a 1-1 count, in my opinion.
100%. Before I throw it to Flicky, I would argue, yes, the banana ball, they're on to something, obviously, especially with kids. Shouldn't be any strikeouts, shouldn't be any walks. A lot of the arguments are, well, they're not getting ready for the next level. Okay. They go to 11, 12-year-old baseball. It's real baseball, and they should be ready. Well, we're not getting anybody ready for the next level when they all just want to walk away from the game, when they've just been standing around for an hour or so. So one of my things is, yes, start with a 1-1 count. And if we get to 4 balls or 3 strikes, either there's a catcher or a coach that rolls the ball out and runner runs, and we get kids moving, or coach comes up and side tosses, or we throw a tee up there, just like Chopper said. But you've got to get the ball in play. Flick Money, how do we save this issue?
Love the 1-1 counts. Force the action. Love no strikeouts. Tee or coach side toss. Let's get the ball moving. There's Coach Quack in the house. I love, similar to what they did in MLB, I think 45 seconds, 60 seconds between innings, first pitch is on the way, whether the hitter's there or not, so that we at least we're tightening up the area around it, which I think helps with the focus. And I would just say, Coach, I think if I were in charge of all of it, I would say, let's get like some experts on, because 8-year-olds are different than 9-year-olds. A lot happens at each year. So I would really want to know, like, if we're going to let's dial in 7, 8s, let's dial in 9s and 10s, because I feel like there is a little bit of a difference. Some of it's going to be distance of the mound, but I do think that we have to honor the fact that kids are maturing and do make jumps in there. So there's some rule differentiations. For example, maybe it's a tee for the 7-year-olds with 2 strikes, but maybe it's side toss with the 8-year-old, maybe with the 9 or 10-year-olds. You're talking about we give them a 4th strike. Maybe they get one more crack at it, so they're still swinging, and we can make it an out, but we're at least giving them an opportunity, like, so that there's some way to graduate up into a walking start. But I think there are experts out there at each age level developmentally that we could talk to and figure out, if we're looking at the whole human, what's the best way we could support this.
Love it.
Shorter fence too. So shout out to Northeast Santa Ana Little League. When I was 7 years old, we played on a field that was tiny. I'm talking legit fence. The fence in right field, and part of it was out of necessity, but it was only 100 feet. The ball to center field was like 130, and left field was a deep drive at 150. But we don't have them on these big fields where if it gets by somebody, that's a wrap. It's an inside the park home run. Like, put up a temporary fence, make it a more small, and then guess what? Oh, I actually hit a ball over the fence as a 7-year-old. That's kind of not me, but I'm saying a kid would be like, I had a home run over the fence. Like, that could keep him going for the next 2 or 3 years. I don't know. Just a thought.
That's good. It's beautiful. Coach Quack is in the house. If you were on the Coach Ballgame playbook, he is Coach Queso's wonderful husband. And just, I tell you what, Mr. Little League around this area, just eye black salute to Coach Quack. And Quack, what we're talking about right now is how do we save Little League from how do we save that left fielder and that center fielder and that right fielder from wanting to sit crisscross applesauce after nothing happens for 20, 25 minutes in 10 and under baseball? And I'd like to hear from you. What rules have you noticed that have already been implemented by Little League to help this, to help the pace of play, to create more movement? Quackarooski, what have you seen?
I mean, it's a big question. A couple things first. I appreciate you having me on. I really respect all the work that you guys do and put in, and I've learned a ton from you guys in the Sandlots and everything else. So, I don't want anything I'm saying to come across as like I'm bad mouthing Little League either, because I think it's really, really good. And I think a lot of the leagues have really good intentions and really good hearts. Um, if I look at where our Little League is specifically in South Mission Viejo, I think um, one of the things that we do differently is with kids who are in that single A kind of coach pitch age, 6 to 8 on the older side. We switched to kid pitch kind of early as opposed to most other leagues. So half the year is machine, half the year is the kids. But once kids start pitching, there's no walks, right? Kid gets 4 chances to throw. If he throws 4 balls, coach comes in and tosses until the kid either strikes out or gets a hit. We did that for 2 years with my oldest son, and he loved it. I mean, he might have struck out 2 or 3 times, but it gets a chance to, hey, you see kids, you're in the game. It's, oh man, I get a hit off my buddy. He doesn't walk me, whatever. Coach comes in, I know I can hit coach. I can drill balls. I think that was something that was really cool that our league does. On to Chop's point there of having smaller fields. This year I was fortunate enough to be in charge of putting fields together and field sizes. And one of the things we wanted to do on that single A coach pitch, T-ball fields, we tried to make them small and accessible, but not so small that you can't learn and you can't play and can't have real outfielders. No one wants your center fielder standing on top of second base. That doesn't teach them anything. But yeah, having kids hit balls over the fence, that's a huge mental increase, right? I remember the first time I hit a ball when I was 9 or 10 years old, and I hit a school in left field up in Oregon. And I was like, oh my God, I'm a big leaguer. Like, this is amazing. And I still talk about that with my buddies, when we get together. So I think you have things like that. I think part of the problem with Little League is this push and pull of like, we got to make it fun, but we got to teach kids real baseball. Right. And I think that kind of continues into 10, 11, 12. And by 12 years old, you're in the Little League World Series if you're really good, which is rad. But that's more real baseball. And I think, maybe at that 8, 9, 10, we have opportunities to change it. So maybe, I heard some of the suggestions there of tees or whatever. I think maybe we do one game during the week that's more like a banana ball style game where there are no walks. If it's a wild pitch, you can steal first base. I'm reading Jesse Cole's book, and like he says, it's all about fun. It's all about engagement. So maybe during the week you do something like that, and then your weekend is your more traditional style game. Um, you don't want to push kids away from the real game, but you don't want them to leave because they're bored. We had a game this last weekend that was a really good game for the first 2 innings. Both teams are engaged. They're both cheering on each other. They're both into it every pitch. And then the kids, since they're 9 and 8, pitcher starts to get tired. You get a couple walks. And then all of a sudden it's, 4 walks in a row. And your center fielder and your right fielder are like, what is going on out here? And then you get a ball to him and he boots it because he's not paying attention. And then he feels bad, so that none of that stuff helps kids and helps them come back. But what's the line? And that's the thing that I continually try to struggle with and trying to figure out as far as games. So
yeah. I think a hybrid is definitely necessary. Flick Money, what do you got?
That just inspired me what you were saying there, Coach. I think if you do the 1-1 counts with the kid pitch in a banana ball style, and then Coach Chopper and I have talked a lot about any combination of walks or hit batters that totals. I used to do 2. I used to be in summer camps and just say, hey, no sweat, you're going to get to pitch again tomorrow, or you can pitch in the afternoon. But right, it's just not your moment right now, and the next person comes in, and then once the kids get used to that, it doesn't feel like you're taking the ball away from them so publicly. Like it's a policy. Everyone has the deals with the same policy. So ball comes out, new pitcher comes in, that keeps kids engaged. And the other piece is what I love about Sandlot ball is the teams are 5 people, so you hit 5 through. If you can get 3 outs, cool, get the 3 outs. That incentivizes them to still get to play defense. But if in Little League, if you got 12 kids on a team, what if we capped it at let's say 6 hitters per inning? regardless. Get the 3 outs, and then you do get them out early. But if otherwise it goes to 6, boom, we switch it over, and then so a kid's going to hit every other inning. Worst case scenario, they're going to get 3 at bats in a little league game. Worst case scenario, and so I feel like that might do a lot for the attention span in the outfield. I'm thinking of my center fielder.
100%. Yeah. I mean, you got 2 hours to play with in this game. Why don't we make them 6-on-6 games where you've got 6 of your players playing 6 of the other teams, traditional baseball, but then maybe it's a patch of grass. Maybe it's the outfield if the outfield's big enough, but there's an area for sandlot ball, quick ball, banana ball, whatever you want to call it, where it is fast paced. Maybe it's with a tennis ball. It's either side toss from the coach or front toss from the coach, where there's a ball in play every 5-10 seconds. There's a ball hit, a ball fielded, a ball thrown, a ball caught, and then next batter up every 3 or 4 seconds. Watching a traditional game when 8, 9, 10-year-olds are learning how to pitch, the most interesting thing that happens is a foul ball maybe every 3 or 4 minutes. Lots of standing around, lots of quiet. And yeah, the kids are going to walk away from that game. So some sort of hybrid where we can create the movement game to the side and then traditional. Or I love what Quack said. You know what? Let's just have one per week where it's traditional, where we're getting them ready for 11 and 12 and 13, 14-year-old ball. But the hybrid is completely necessary. And then ask those kids, what's your favorite? What's your favorite game? Is it that Wednesday game where you got 6 at bats and we played 12 innings in 90 minutes? Or is it this one where you got 2 at bats and I wanted to put a camera on some of the outfielders those last couple of innings. They did not move for 20, 25 minutes. Now, I think a lot of that is just changing the rules, but I think there's a lot of it that coaches can do as well. Some coaches, and I've got a post that'll be coming out later today. It's real talk, but I know there's some coaches that will find every crevice in the rule book to elongate the game, to stall. That way, time limit's up and we don't get 6 complete innings in. We only get 4 or 5. That made me nauseous. That makes me nauseous when I see that. Let's throw it to Chopper on what can coaches do with the rules we have in place to bring more action.
I love what Flick said about 60 seconds in between innings. We already do it. It's 3 pitches. It's like 3 and let's go. Ball's in. Batter up. Let's go. And if you think about the simple math of that, it's normally 3 to 5 minutes every half inning at Little League games. It's absurd. If you go a minute, you're shaving off, 2 to 3 minutes, 2 to 4 minutes every half inning. That's 8 minutes an inning. That's 48 minutes. If my math serves me right, and I think it does. That's crazy. And I don't know about for you guys, but out here, the game started at 7:30 at night on school nights. So we're getting home at 10:30 at night for no reason. Just because there's no pace. And to Flick's point,
basketball equivalent is one kid shooting a free throw for 25 minutes while 9 kids stand and watch that free throw. The equivalent to soccer is one kid gets a free kick while everybody else is standing and watching. We've got to create more movement. Flick Money, what else can coaches, parents do to prioritize this?
Yeah, I think we have to employ a style of play that is energetic, up tempo. It's that we've been talking about with coaches. It's the way they practice as well. Keep them moving, but in the games, there's some things that are out of our control, but we definitely can control time between innings, how we get on and off the field, how much fun we create from the dugout, joyful time. So it's and even how we engage kids when they're in the outfield, right? There's still ways to engage. There's still ways to keep the outfielders engaged, right? And that's the way we communicate the game, the way we talk the game. But I just love the idea. I think maybe a clock might save this thing, because you could say every time up, every half inning, it's 6 hitters or 5 minutes, whichever comes first. That would make 10 minutes an inning. That would make the whole game in an hour of actual playing time. And then you add the in between times. So if you had 2 minutes for two teams, so then you're looking at an hour and 12 minutes, right? And then you could actually play more innings. We could get more than 6 innings. We get kids more at bats. So that could be a saving grace type thing. But just from the coaching side, I used to just remind our kids, when we're on offense, right? We're scoring. So we're gonna, it's the way we get on the field. It's the way we get up to bat. It's the way that we run the bases. It's the way that we cheer for each other. That's all about offense. That's putting pressure on the other team. And then, but I would have our kids more on defense. We're going to take that offensive mentality to the field on defense. We are coming after you. My outfielders, we're patrolling like big cats hunting, right? We're shading to the right ways. We're talking the game to each other. We know each pitch, where we're going with the ball, where the base runners, all that stuff. So it becomes kind of a mind state that we got to teach. But I feel like the rules together, mind state, coaching, plus some rule adjustments, could be really powerful.
Yeah,
I'll jump in there real quick. I think being in it right now, right, with a 9-year-old, right? I think the biggest slowdown of those games is walks, right? Because kids are still trying to figure out how to pitch, especially if you move back from 40 to 44, 44 to 46 feet to get that, more little league traditional distance. That's the hardest thing. And yeah, Little League is doing a really good job with pitch counts and trying to keep kids, hey, you can only throw so many pitches per day, and then you have to have rest to try to take away that injury stuff. But even still, I can say my 9-year-old, after about 40 pitches, he's done. He's just fried.
as he should be.
He's got his warm up before the game. He's got, 2 or 3 in between every inning. So he's wrecked. And then you start getting wild. And especially if you have a kid who's like, well, that's our best pitcher, and your coach. And this gets way deeper. This gets back to, the whole mentality of I got to win at all costs. And if you get a coach who's only throwing 2 guys all year because those are the only guys you trust, you're doing a couple things. You're not building up anyone else for the betterment of the league. You're just trying to build your own team for winning. But as those kids get deeper and deeper and deeper, it's a walk fest. So I think if Little League of America, as a whole gets really serious about this and says, okay, under 11, maybe walks are a non-starter, right? Or if it's 4 balls, coach's pitch, or like you said, soft toss or tee or whatever. And it's not because we don't want you to learn the game. We got to keep it moving, right? We want our pitchers to get a chance to learn to throw strikes. But, when you've got 6 walks in an inning, I mean, that takes forever. Even if you have a 5-run per inning limit, that's, in my mind, that's the thing that needs to be addressed, structured, changed more than anything else, right? You'll have coaches who are really good about keeping their team engaged with cheers or positions or learning scenarios, backing kids up, things like that from the outfield, from the infield, and trying to talk to their pitcher. But again, it's the mano a mano that is baseball, and you can't get away from that. It's just the inconsistencies that kids have.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it really has to say, okay, how do we address that particular part?
Yep. I love that, Quack, and I'm going to throw it to Flicky in just a second, but I'm excited to end this conversation with that win at all costs thing. I do think there's that traditional stance in baseball where it's got to be done the old way, the Babe Ruth way. You're not getting in the Hall of Fame unless you do it by the book, by the old rules. There's got to be a shift there. There's got to be more movement. So people are afraid to make walks a non-starter because that's not the rules of the game. Meanwhile, if you can say ball 4, here's a tee or here's a coach doing side toss, you immediately have a shortstop fielding a ball, a second baseman covering a base, a third baseman backing up a play, a first baseman covering a base, a catcher taking his mask off and communicating, three outfielders backing up three different bases. You have immediate movement that took about 12 seconds. It took the amount of time for the kid to jog to first base on the walk. So it's the same amount of time, and you got 9 kids moving. It's a no-brainer. Flick Money.
To support you, coach, what I was going to say is if you do that, if the kid gets a hit, he gets the result of a hit. If the defense makes the out, cool, we register the out, but the kid gets to run the bases because he walked. He earned the walk. We don't want to take away that from him. So he gets kind of we give him the better, whatever the best good is result wise, that's what he gets to take. The other thing I was going to mention is, can we bring a little bit of the Dominican style where we're really teaching hitters, we're incentivizing hitters to swing at pitches? Because this American baseball, if you ask Dominican kids, we're obsessed with the strike zone. Oh, it was a ball, and it's like barely a ball. It's like a hair off, and people are screaming and arguing over it. It's like, no, man, we need these kids. It needs to be a huge expanded strike zone. I'm talking pits to shoelaces, and we need to figure out a way to incentivize hitters to hit. Maybe if they, it's like if they get a hit off if they hit a ball in the strike zone, they get the result. If they hit something out of the strike zone and they're safe, we're going to give them an extra base on top of whatever they get. So if it was a single, you get a double, brother, because you just hit one off that was at shoulder height and laced it for a single. We're going to give you a double. Like, we need to find a way to incentivize that, because kids are going to swing more. They're going to get more opportunities to hit. It's going to provide more action. They're going to become better hitters. And as they get older, they learn the strike zone, the competitive strike zone for winning games. But that is just driving me crazy at the little league level, how obsessed we are with balls and strikes.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
huge. Especially
because
all the umpires are volunteers, right?
Right.
Everyone's a volunteer from, at least in our little league, right? The only people who are league volunteers are the major umpires for the 12-year-olds. But it's like, hey, it's John's dad coming out, awesome. I know him. And he may have a strike zone that's huge, or he may be terrified because he doesn't want to, give pitches that are 2 inches off the plate. And I'll tell you right now, man, at 9 years old, I got kids who are like, well, that's not a strike. That's not a strike. And you're letting the umpire control the at bat instead of saying, my job is to hit the ball, right? I'm here to hit. I'm here to put it in play. I'm here to have fun. I'm here to make it better. Walks, like, what are walks? Walks are fascist. That's the Bull Durham quote, right? Like, they're boring. It's been around forever. That's what it says. Hit the ball, have fun. Let's go.
My saying is, if it's hittable, it's a strike. So go get that thing. You have to teach aggression at this young age. That's how you learn how to hit. But we've got coaches yelling, take every pitch, because he's going to at some point throw a ball forward and you're going to be able to walk, and we're going to be able to win this game because of it. That's a big reason why we haven't made any changes. Is we got to keep it traditional because we want to do it right to win this game. I've definitely seen coaches do this, and we're moving into this conversation here of stall tactics, meetings, stepping out of the box, making these middle of the innings 5-10 minutes instead of 30 seconds, 60 seconds. So that I have to win the game thing is trumping movement. It's trumping love of the game. It's trumping kids wanting to continue further. So Chopper, you raised your hand. Fire away.
Yeah, I love what Flick said. I think you have to swing. At the young age, you got to swing. And if it's out of the zone, it's a ball. So you swing at a ball that's out of the zone, ball. But if you can hit it and you make contact, play with it. Like it's on, because who cares if your kid goes 0 for 3 because the pitcher threw balls that were borderline and he was forced to swing. So be it. You're 7. You have to swing. I think we just fixed Little League at the young age. You have to swing. You do have an umpire at home plate. If it is out of the zone and the kid swings and misses, ball. But if it is put in play, it's baseball. Flick Money, you're a master. You fixed Little League. We're good here. Let's wrap it up. Have a great day, everybody.
Rake, don't forget to rake, bang, bye. But well, here's the thing. Um, it's not going to change until coaches and as a whole leagues get behind this notion that movement and ball and play is more important than the tradition of baseball or the actual rules of the game. So I always want to end conversations on a great note. And we talked about a great story early on that Chopper brought out about a life lesson. But that life lesson came from a coaching lens of big picture, of character over a win, over a loss. So, Quacker, I'll throw the mic to you. As you know, you are in the thick of it, and you've seen it all. You've seen the good coaches, the coaches that are at win at all costs. What plans do you have? What can you do to control the controllables as you move into the rest of your tournament, as you move into All Stars? How are you going to control the controllables?
Well, I think a couple things, right? One, you always tell your team it's about us. It's not about anyone else, right? It's about us and these 12 dudes here and what we do, and we're gonna play how we play. You can't worry about anyone else. We're gonna make practice as fun as possible. We're gonna have our drill section, and that's great. But then we might do backwards baseball to end the day. We might do home run derby. We might do scenario, you got a runner on third, no outs, get him in, and the winner, who gets the most RBIs gets an ice cream cone, whatever. Um, we're gonna be good sports and cheer for our teammates and the other team, right? If Jimmy on the other team makes a diving catch, attaboy, good job, man. It's 9-year-old baseball, right? No one's getting a scholarship today. No one's going pro today. There's no scout coming and saying, man, that kid is the next, Mookie Betts. Like he's getting a contract. It doesn't happen. But our job is to make them have fun, to learn life lessons, to be great sports, and ultimately to come back. Right? If you do all those things as a coach, you're super successful. And if you get those 10, 11 kids to love each other and love baseball, man, you've hit a home run in my book. So, games will have their ebbs and flows because we can't change it right now. But you keep your energy up as a coach. You keep the energy up in the dugout. You're cheering for everyone. Doesn't matter if you're up or down. Everything's the same. We care about us. And we'll let the chips fall as they may.
Well, I've seen you in action, Coach, and you are doing it right. Win or loss, you are about those kids. Are those kids going to have fun at the pool party after the game? Are they going to be better humans because of me and because of the way I approach that coach that's win at all costs and toxic? Flick Money, any advice to Quack as he tries to go down this straight and narrow path and he's running into win at all costs parents screaming at umpires from the bleachers, win at all costs coaches who are trying to win in what I would call a fraudulent way. How does he navigate that?
I mean, Quack, first of all, thank you for coaching. Second of all, I love the message of this is how we do it here. This is about our guys. This is how we're going to do it. It's not how everyone else is going to do it. I think it sets the kids up for empowers them to understand that you can create your own vibe wherever you are, and that's a big, beautiful part of being human. In terms of marching forward, I think, I don't know. I have a little bit of a chip on my shoulder. I derive energy when I can feel or hear the chatter, when I get smack talked from the bleachers or a parent's got that stuff all builds motivation in me to actually go further. Then we're gonna cheer a little bit louder. Then we're gonna even have a little bit more fun. I'm gonna throw it in their faces a little bit more at the end of the game when my kids are having a water balloon fight in the outfield and your kids who won the game are all miserable, listening to their dads chew on them as they walk to the car. Like I'm gonna double down. So if you can take that energy and it's really kind of an alchemy, but take the energy of negativity that you get from other people and turn that into put a chip on your shoulder and march forward, head up and shoulders back. I think that's important because otherwise it can beat us. I think it can beat us down. But the reality is that, you know, the United States of America, we so many beautiful things about the way we allow an individual, push them to become their best. Uh, but the downside of where we're at in this moment in time is that with baseball, adults are engineering wins via low character and being obsessed with how to engineer, how to manipulate the rules, you know, walking, stalling, all of these things. And it's like, it's the kid version of, if you get a good lawyer and you've got enough money, you can do whatever you want in this world. That's essentially what we're teaching them. If you got the right coach, right, who can manipulate the right way, that's the lawyer who can manipulate the right way, and you got enough resource to make that happen, and you can win trophies and everyone can feel good about themselves. In a way, it's like they yell at us about the participation trophies, but in a way, you're the one who's creating trophies for yourself, and so out of some insecurity. What we're trying to do is prioritize this other thing. So I just, you know, march forward with a swelled up chest. You're doing great things, and I just appreciate you.
Quack salute, quack salute. Yeah, all of those decisions made to win a 9-year-old game, and at the cost of love of play of 20 young men or women, that stems from insecurity, 100%. Right? At some point, they lost in life. Maybe they're losing in life right now, and this is the only thing they have control over. So they're gonna try and wiggle their way through. Chopperoo, any advice for Quack and these listeners that are also they got a big game tonight and they got to navigate all that toxic?
Yeah, Quack's dialed in, so he's good. Keep it
Bang.
up. For those with a big game tonight, have fun. Don't lose sight of what's important now, the actual meaning of win. Shout out to Russ Davis. And I want to touch on these coaches that manipulate time, right? I've got 12 minutes left, so I'm going to call timeout and slowly walk to the mound. I just rolled my ankle, so I got to go really slow. I'm going to talk slow, and I'm going to make sure that we don't have to play another inning. I'm the polar opposite because I'm looking at it from a different lens. If I have a 2-run lead, I want to hurry up and make sure we have to play that last inning, because I need Flick Money to learn how to get 3 outs with a 2-run lead and shut it down. Because by the time he's in high school, I don't want him to have never had to have experienced that, because I manipulated everything. So we never had to play that last inning. So for me, it's a totally different lens. And it happens all the time in club baseball. The umpire will walk over and be like, "You guys only got 12 minutes left." And you're like, wink at you. And I'm like, "Cool, dude, ball's in. Let's go. Hurry up. Like, let's go. Let's make sure that we have to get into that big moment where we have a 2-run lead and we've got to figure it out. And either we're going to fail and we grow, or we're going to know how to do it. And we're going to be fearless and like, bet 4 minutes left. Let's hurry up." So we have to get those 3 outs, and we get to figure out how to navigate pressure, perceived pressure.
Love it. So good. Well, I'll end with this. I posted a video on my Instagram and Facebook. If you could change one rule in Little League to make it better, what would it be? And I said, it's got to be 5-on-5 games, right? Split the kids into 2 groups, have one team playing in the outfield, one game in the outfield, one game in the infield. Maybe it's tennis balls, but 5v5. And then if a parent yells at an umpire, then that parent has to umpire the next 3 games. Easy peasy. Let them walk in umpire's shoes for a little bit. 724 comments just on Instagram with this video. Your boy Swish, friend of the pod, Nick Swisher, said, "No stats, just fundamentals and fun. Play for growth and development, not numbers." Attaboy. By the way, listen to that episode. We talk about Little League parents in the bleachers. But we had some good comments in response to that. And Game Changer app may be one of the worst things that's happened to 8U baseball in the last 20 years because parents in 6U, 7U are tracking stats, they're tracking wins, and it's less about fundamentals. So for what it's worth, Nick Swisher, World Series champion, I like that. Make it about fundamentals. Make it about growth instead of how many stats and wins do you have on the Game Changer app. So Quacker, I'd say me, Chopper, Flick Money, and Nick Swisher, I'd say we're right behind you. So you're in good company, brother.
Feels good. It's a nice little quartet to say, okay, well, I got these guys to come out to the next game. So next time you want to come and coach, give me a call. We can have a lot of fun.
By the way, before you leave, Quack, me and Quack have had this idea for years now, where Quack just comes over to my house and sits right under that guitar over there, and we don't reference him.
Oh, it's gonna happen.
We don't that like we like Chopper might see him back there chewing on a sandwich or playing chess with himself, but he's just like the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones dancer on the side of the stage. Like he's just dancing, and he's never referenced. We never talk about him. So that's still in play.
Love that.
Get ready, boys. Get ready.
Love that. Need that.
Chopper, sorry, Quack, if I got you, if I found a duck bill that just went just over the ears around the back as part of the getup, would you wear it?
Oh, I'm down. I may wear a full duck costume to his house. You never know.
Because up here in
Well,
Pac-12,
you've got
former
Jersey,
Pac-12 country,
you know,
I can get a hold of those things.
see what happens.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming on for a few minutes, Quack. Have a great rest of your day. Attaboy.
Attaboys. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. I love listening. Catch you later.
See ya.
Thanks, Coach. See ya.
Man, I do think we fixed Little League Baseball, and it's pretty simple. Flick money, maybe some bullet points for a listener that's kind of like me and needs the bullet point outline version. How do we save this game?
Okay, time is an issue. So we talked about speeding up between innings. So the first pitch from the time the last out is made of the last inning, the next pitch, the first pitch of the next half inning is thrown in 60 seconds, whether the hitter's in there or not, whether the defense is all set or not. That pitch is coming. And you can just start calling strikes or putting runners on base, depending on which team is not ready to go. So that's going to speed up in between innings. We talked about capping the half innings, either at 6 hitters in a 12-hitter lineup or 5 minutes, whichever comes first, so that we know we're going to get an opportunity to get more innings and more at-bats per kid. We talked about the walks and strikeout issue. So ways to, if a kid walks, then coach comes out to pitch, or you put a tee out there, they get an opportunity to put a ball in play. They get the best results. Either they get the walk result or they get the ball in play result if it's a hit. So we're incentivizing. We're still keeping the action moving, and with pitchers, if they walk 2, or you can say 3, combination of walk and hit batsman 3. Take the ball, put the next guy in. Boom. What else? There's no strikeout.
I also think on that note, pitching changes take time. So you warm up your pitcher in the bullpen, and they're getting their warm-up pitches there. While if there needs to be a pitching change, you just have a coach pitch, and maybe it's side toss, maybe it's front toss. But that way, pitcher runs in from the bullpen, maybe one warm-up, and then you're ready to go because you've just thrown 5 to 10 in the bullpen. So that goes against the traditional rules if you got to get 3 or 5 warm-ups on the mound. No, you don't. Get in there and throw. Bang.
Yeah, I was going to say, Coach, that these kids are 8 years old, 9 years old. The myth that they need to warm up, they've already been playing catch. We've been at the game. We've warmed up. We took infield, outfield. They've thrown, right? They give them one. Just get them out there. Just to give them the ball. Give them one to get their bearing set on the mound or whatever, and let's play. I think that's really smart. We also talked about on the strikeout side. Right? What we're doing, what we need for hitters to do, we need to incentivize hitters to swing. So then, therefore, we need to expand the strike zone. We need to incentivize them. You get an extra base if you hit a ball outside of the strike zone, or potentially, let's say you do swing at a ball that was crazy out. then you bring the tee, or then you bring the coach pitch, so that there's not really a failure in it. They're swinging more, there's more action, but we're still giving you an opportunity to put a ball in play if the pitcher's all over the place, something along those lines.
Rules to save Little League Baseball 10 and under. I have watched some 11 and 12-year-old games where it's real baseball and it's 7 innings in 90 minutes and it moves. And that can be that's a different conversation. But Chopper, that's the rules that are needed to save. What about from a coach's and parents' perspective? What can you do to save Little League Baseball?
I just came to my head too, and Flick touched on it in the chat, but getting the outfielders more involved. So what if there's a strikeout? And it can be the coach of the team that's in the field. They have to throw a fly ball, and an outfielder has to make a catch.
Love it.
Otherwise, the guy gets a base. So it's like, hey, dude, all right, bet we got the strikeout. Oh, now it's my chance. I'm in the right fielder, but now I get to make this catch. I get this opportunity to impact the game in a positive way.
I'll double down and say, got to set up a cutoff. Shortstop's got to get out there. Second baseman's got to cover the base, or vice versa. And there's got to be a catch to the cutoff, a catch to the base, and then there's a play. And then next batter in 3, next batter in 2, next batter in 1. Why not? Why not?
Yep. And don't keep score. Time limits, I would drop it down to 4 minutes. Just to honor the 60 seconds. I love an hour. It's period. And there's no extra innings. It's 1 hour. That's a wrap. Like, you're going to get 4 minutes each team. That's 8 minutes, 60 seconds each half inning. That's 10 minutes an inning. It's over in 60 minutes. Dark box it. For these younger ages, get them in, get them out. Like everything else in the world is trying to speed up. Why not speed up a 7-year-old baseball game and have it done in an hour? And you can't get that bored in an hour when we're trying to add all these rules that we're changing. When it comes to parents and coaches, and my son Noah coaches or umpires like 4 or 5 games a day, it seems like, at least 2 a day. He's all over it. And he's like, man, everyone's so mean. So I'm tossing parents and their kid. Sorry. You're going to argue, and it'll be weird at first, but then everyone's going to understand the expectation. If you're not looking through a lens of gratitude, you're getting tossed, and so is your son. And you can tell him on the way home why he doesn't get to play the rest of that game.
And you, as the head coach, you're tossing your parents.
The league, the umpire will toss. The league will set a standard. We will not argue calls. In fact, every missed call is an opportunity for us to teach our kids how to deal with adversity and still show respect. We had a mom last week. Noah was umpiring. Debbie was just watching the game, 7-year-olds. And Noah made a call that the kid was out of the baseline. Per Noah, he was like 7 feet out of the baseline. So he called him out. Well, the mom in the stands just thinks he called him on a tag. So she's like, that's effing garbage. This kid's effing garbage. That umpire's effing. She's yelling at a 14-year-old kid that he is, quote, F-wording garbage, because she doesn't even know the rules. Whether it was a good call or not is independent of the fact that she's yelling and screaming at a kid that's 1 or 2 years removed from a kid playing in the game, in a Little League game. So I would solve that really quickly. If you argue a call or you yell and scream in a negative way, you and your son are gone. You get to have the whole walk to the car to explain to them why they don't get to play the rest of the game. It'll fix itself real quick.
And then you have to umpire the next game. Behind the plate, throw on the gear, and umpire. Flick Money, anything to add to that?
No, I love that. I think what it says is we're protecting the institution. We're protectors of the institution of baseball and of Little League. When, parents, we're not teaching resilience. If we're going to have emotional reactions to calls in a Little League game from the stands as parents, we're literally teaching our kids the opposite of resilience. It's have no emotional control. That's totally fine. Just scream and yell and try to bully your way into a different result, and it's garbage.
I also just get so sick to my stomach when the opposing team's parents kind of get super loud and even to the point of intimidating and ridiculing the other team's players. It definitely happens. Could be passive aggressive, but it does happen. Why don't the other team, guys, we have got to fist bump this kid on the other team. He made an error. He feels terrible. Let's go give him a fist bump. Let him know we've messed up before too. This is way bigger than what that scoreboard says. Go over here, like mandate it, coaches. Mandate it. If the parents aren't going to listen to what we're saying, maybe they'll watch their kids be kind. Maybe they'll watch their kids be amazing and awesome, and they'll learn from the kid. So, man, I think we just saved Little League.
I mean, is
Yeah, I
it too
think we
much to
did.
ask for soundproof bleachers where the parents can't even be heard? They can cheer, see through plexiglass, no sound.
Well, I mean,
Come
a
on.
shout out to Mary. One of the 724 comments on this post mandated muzzles on all parents. I mean, muzzles, and we'll clean them each game, make sure they're clean, and they they smell good. But yeah, mandation. There you go. So I highly recommend you scroll down the feed of the almost 1,000 comments. No flat bills on the on the hats, no white pants from a mother, drop third strikes eliminated. So many good ones here. So,
Hey, coach, one
Yeah.
shout out. I love me some Nick Swisher and Ted Sullivan, the creator and founder of Game Changer, is himself an incredible Little League coach and in the lineage of great Little League coaches that has definitely brought me to this conversation. So I think that Game Changer is a fantastic tool, right?
And by the way, Nick Swisher said nothing against Game Changer. That was a
Right.
response.
But no,
to it.
absolutely. But the idea is that, right, it's that people hunting wins and statistics are placing that over character development and the kids having fun. And I think that having a tool like that is fantastic for a lot of reasons. But yeah, maybe there's an age at which the employment of statistics as a way of measuring can be really effective. I'm not really sure. That's got to be Chopper. What do you think about that as far as a coach or parent culture thing with the Game Changer and stats?
I don't like stats. Bo told me last night we're driving back from Michael's game, and Bo's like, "Yeah, my last at bat, I hit a weak ground ball in the 6-hole, and I took second on the overthrow, and then they put it in as a double on Game Changer." It's like no one should know that. Like no, and also the stats aren't real anyways. But like Bo shouldn't know that, and I don't like stats. I just think I don't even like them at the high school level. Like, put your team before yourself, and sacrifice like a team at bat, a team vibe. When you're worried about your own stats, and I get it, we all played baseball. We were all mindful of our stats. Game Changer has made it much, much, much worse. It's an unintended consequence of a beautiful app that is wonderful, and it enables us to watch our kids when we're in another state, and it's amazing. But the proverbial thorn to the rose petal is kids are obsessed with inaccurate stats. Like, no, it's not a double, it's an error. The shortstop, that was a routine play. You're actually 0 for 1 in the real world, but since it's fake and the accountant from Microsoft is doing Game Changer, he doesn't know any better, not his fault. You're getting, I don't like stats, dude. I don't have a good answer for it.
This is a good way to end this conversation. So what stats should be prioritized on that app? I'll start. Hustle, quality at bats, hard hit balls, right? Quality contact, knowledge of the game, and yeah, maybe they're hard to equate, but keep score of their character, keep score of their choices and their improvement over OPS. What stats would you throw in that app, Flick Money?
I love quality ABs. Yeah, anything that measures the player's impact on what their team's trying to achieve, right? Did you move the runner over from second to third with less than 2 outs? Like some of these like baseball plays. But I also remember being a kid. I was looking at the back of baseball cards. I was a total geek for that stuff. So I was obsessed with my own, with my own numbers. And it was the way that I challenged myself to get better. That was the metric that I could see, okay, well, all this work I'm putting in is improving because I can see it improving. So it's a little bit difficult because baseball's an interesting game and how individual and team concept, those two things, right, kind of fold in together. There's the mano a mano, one-on-one confrontation where it's very much statistically driven, and you've got this whole team thing happening around that. And I think that's okay. I don't think I think it can be neutral. I just think when a team or parents or coaches are not prioritizing character, it gets accentuated as a real problem and a real issue because there's nothing foundational underneath it to make it okay to have those conversations, right?
And that's the VIG. Like we want it to be a both and thing for all the different personality types. The flicky who feeds off the stats, the kid that actually feeds off the pressure, but also the personality types that feed off the more important things, like we've been talking about, character. But the VIG is we try to put that in the control of parents and coaches, and they either or it. They turn it into an either or instead of a both and. So one bite at a time, as Nick Hundley said, one attaboy, one attagirl, one great coach, one equipped and educated parent at a time. Win small to win big. I'm done. Anybody else? Rake,
Dogs over cats.
bang, and rethink the cat thing. Love you all.
Love you, dude. Rake.